Hello, and what's happening with the audio? So yes, I'm going to turn that down a little bit and see if that makes things better. Yeah, I think so. It's been a day. It's been a fun day. Done lots of stuff, written interesting code, taken my son swimming. He's learning to dive, which is brilliant. And some of the diving is kind of like wah-ha, and then some of the diving is more of a kind of ba-boom, and just flat down into the water, which is just lovely to watch. So yes, here we are. I did the first C# School of Grok thing last night, and that was fun. Showed sort of how to get .NET and how to install it and all that sort of thing. And then mucked about with the console application and got sort of, hello, what's your name? And you type in your name and it says, well, nice to meet you, name, or whatever else. Kind of an intro thing. And so the idea with that stream is that it'll be done live and people will watch and they can ask questions and all that sort of good stuff. And also, I will then edit the video and add titles to it and all that sort of stuff and upload it to YouTube, which is a good plan. I like the plan. But on the stream, there is a Stream Badger thing because there has to be a Stream Badger thing because it's fun. You've got to have Stream Badger. I'm just going to run Stream Badger over here now. So yes, the thing that we are building, and then I'm going to go over to here and I'm going to turn Stream Badger on, and then I'm going to hit banana, and there's the banana. Yay, there we go. And there's Perry. So yeah, we've got Stream Badger running, and I have Stream Badger running while the video is being recorded. Which is, it's fun when you're streaming. It's nice for people to be able to interact with you and kind of go, oh, I'm going to make a badger fly over, a platypus fly across the screen, or I'm going to make a splash happen like that. And people can muck about and all this sort of thing. But when it comes time to upload the thing to YouTube, I'm not sure that I want all the Stream Badger stuff happening all over the YouTube. I don't know. So, yeah, who knows? So OBS Studio, which is what I've been using, what you use for streaming. People use different software for streaming, but there's OBS Studio is kind of like the original one. And it will also record everything to a file, to an MP4 file or whatever, on your local disk, which you can then use to edit things and so forth. And I thought, I wonder if you can say, right, so stream everything, but for the recording, don't include this source. Just filter this source out of the recording. And I looked into it, and there's not in OBS, but there is an alternative version of OBS called Streamlabs OBS, because OBS is open source, and so there is also a Streamlabs OBS, which I believe is also open source, because I think OBS is GPL 3, and so I think all the things, but Streamlabs is owned by Elgato or something, who makes Stream Decks and that sort of stuff. And Streamlabs has a feature where you can say, don't include this in the recording, only include it on the stream. And so I'm now streaming using Streamlabs. This is Streamlabs, and it's not really that different. It's got a much more polished user interface. I don't want to put it on the screen because it will do scary things, but if I bring up like the settings window, so you can see there the settings window, it just looks a little bit more kind of polished and stuff. So yes, but here's the thing. We built something into StreamBadger so that when you started it, it would enable the source, the browser source in OBS, and then when you closed it down, it would disable it again. So if I were to close it down now, we'd get an overlay and stuff. And that works using a WebSockets plugin, which is an aftermarket thing for OBS Studio. And you can't install these aftermarket plugins in Streamlabs. Streamlabs provides its own API. So let me make myself small down here. Super small now as well. Look at that. Very, very small indeed. Let's bring the camera down a bit so that I'm a little bit more there, and we'll move me over a bit more into the corner there. Okay, so yes. So if we look at Streamlabs OBS API, here it is, Slobs client. So Streamlabs OBS allows remote management of the application via an RPC-based API. The API is split into several different services. You can access services, methods and properties by sending JSON RPC messages to the named pipe Slobs, which is very different. But I think I would like StreamBadger to be able to support Streamlabs OBS, because lots of people use that, and there are probably other applications, and you know, it's open source. People can come along and they can contribute those changes for it. But for today, I'm going to have a look at the Streamlabs OBS thing. And one of the things I like about this is that we can just do this in a simple console application. So we can go into Sandbox, and then we can mkdir slobs spike, and then we can cd into slob spike, and we can say .NET new console, and then we can rider slobspike.csproj, and yeah, so I can open this up, and we can start mucking about with the Slobs API. Where's my thing there? So we're going to connect to a named pipe called Slobs, and we're going to connect as a client. So let's shrink that down a bit, and then we can say var client equals new named pipe client stream. And then that's going to be Slobs. Like that. And then we have to write, so if we want to get a list of scenes, we can send this code here across. So then we can say var get scenes equals and it takes new lines as the kind of delimiter, so we don't want any new lines in there. And then if we say await client dot write async, let's do var bytes equals encoding.utf8.get bytes get scenes. And then we can say await client. I need to make this an async main method. So how is everybody this evening? Shout out in the chat, say hi, let me know you're here, because things are working differently today. I don't have the same OBS stuff that I had before, so I don't know who's here. So we got digit again. Await client dot connect async. And then we can say await client dot write async bytes not bytes dot length oh, that's not going to work. Plus \n, like that. So we're going to put the new line on the end. Okay, so that should send the RPC request over the pipe. Full disclosure, I can't remember the last time I did anything with named pipes in .NET, so I'm not entirely sure how this works, but let's see what it does. And then we can say var await client dot read async and we're just going to create a new var buffer equals new byte. How big do we think these things are going to get? Let's say 4 kilobytes is going to be the biggest one that we get back. That should be ridiculously plenty. So then we can say int length equals, and then we can say var response equals encoding.utf8.get string from buffer naught length, like that, and then we can say response. Okay, so I've got slobs running. Theoretically, this should just work. Let's see what happens. .NET run. Wow, look at that. It did work. Excellent. So we've got a scene ID there, and then a name. And all that sort of stuff. Brilliant. That was much easier than I thought it was going to be. But we've still got some stuff to do. So we've got a sources service here as well. And so we've got get sources. And that's going to return So let's just did that exceed my 4K limit? I wonder. So if I wrap can I create a reader and a writer? Var writer equals new stream writer client and encoding.utf8, and var reader equals new stream reader client encoding UTF-8. And if I now do await writer.write line async get scenes, and then do our response equals await reader.read line async, let's see what that does. Doesn't seem to like that so much. I think that's hanging on there. Let's run it on debug mode and see what's going on. Yeah, no, it's not having that at all, is it? All right, we are going to switch back to doing it this way. So var string builder equals new string builder. We can build this up into here. And then we can say string builder dot encoding dot UTF-8 dot get string. Can we do that into... No, see, those are all just going to return a string. And then we can say string builder dot append chunk. That's weird. Why? Get chars. Oh, there's the thing you can do. You see, like that. So string builder dot append and we can do that. All right, so we can optimize this a bit. shortly, but let's just do what we're doing. And so then we can say if length equals 4 times 1024. All right, so we start here. We've got our buffer. We're going to read async into our buffer, and then if it's returned the full length of the thing, then we're going to say go round again and read some more of it until it returns less than 0 length. And then down here we're going to say string builder dot toString. Okay, so let's do a debug here, and we're going to run this. Okay, so 4096 and then F10, and length is, yep, see it has its returned. And now length is 2376. And so if we do that, and that does appear to close off the JSON nicely. And if I just open up a quick Visual Studio Code window, undo Control N, Control V, and it is JSON, and then we can just do Control Shift P, format document, wowzers. Why are you doing that? Indent using spaces, 2 spaces. 2 spaces is fine. Why are you using 8 space tabs? That's insane. Nobody uses 8 space tabs. Right. And then we're going to do Control Shift P, format document. There we go. That's better. So we've got our JSON RPC result, which is this, and the ID here. So result is an array. So that's a scene. And its name is intro, which makes sense. And then, yeah, there are other things going on here as well. And not entirely sure that that's necessarily worked particularly well. Okay, so let's go back to this thing here, and we've got get sources. So if we go back to our spike here, we can start to break this out a bit. Hey Des. Oh, it's not. I am logged in. Did that work? Okay, got it. It's not visible at the moment. There we go. Why is it not working? That's working. But the images are not working. I do not know. I'll figure that out. Never mind. The boom's working, that's what I need. So I'm going to start to refactor some of this out into another class. So we're going to do public class slobs client. And then we're going to have a private read-only named pipe client stream. And we're going to set that to point at slobs, and then we're going to have a public async. So public task connect async underscore client dot connect async. And then we are going to have a public async task string run async string JSON RPC. So we can do that down here now. Build it up here in our stream client, and then we can just return string builder dot to string like that. Okay. So get scenes here is like that, and we don't need that anymore. And if we do slash for space so that's nice and small now. Do get sources, that should just be get sources like that. And then we can say var response equals await client dot run async get sources okay, and hopefully this will work too. Yep, that looks pretty good. So that's giving me got a source name desktop audio, And I've got a source with the name Stream Badger and the ID like this. Okay, it's looking all right. So what else have we got in here? Now on the API page here, down at the bottom, it's got a sort of so there's asynchronous task execution, remote connections, how to mute a source, how to hide or show a scene item. So this is basically what we want. So get the active scene, which is going to return this JSON RPC stuff here. And that gives us a source ID there, like that. Okay. So, get active scene. The method is active scene like this. And if I change that to get active scene and run it here, oh, I don't need that anymore, do I? It's down here. Get active scene. There we go. So that's given me that back. Got quite a lot of information in there. Ba-bum. Two spaces. Oh. JSON, and then format it. That's slightly easier. So this is get active scene. Scene this, nodes. We've got a source ID with a name. Okay, this returns quite a big chunk of information actually. This is from the Streamlabs OPS API. Yes, sorry Des, you weren't here at the start of the stream. So I'm looking at switching to using Streamlabs OBS instead of OBS Studio, simply because it has one single feature that I want. And so OBS has that WebSockets plugin which everyone uses to talk to OBS, but Streamlabs has it sort of built in, but it is JSON RPC over a named pipe. And so I'm writing new code so that Stream Badger can still turn the scene source on and off in the in Streamlabs OBS. So we've got these nodes here, so I'm going to create a type that matches these. So we're going to have a public class active scene response. and we're going to have a public class slobs response of t, and we're going to say public prop t result, like that. And I wonder if JSON encoding can cope with this. So then in here we've got prop string name, and we're going to have a public class scene node, and that's going to have a prop string ID and a prop string name and a prop string resource ID and a prop bool visible. Okay. So then in here we're going to have a public async run async t, string JSON RPC. Okay. Oh, task of t, like that. And then we're going to say var JSON equals await run async JSON RPC. And then have I got system.text.json. Yeah. So then we're going to say var result equals JSON serializer dot deserialize JSON I wonder if it'll do this. Return result dot result, like that. That should, in theory, work, I think. So active scene response, and then this is going to have a prop scene node nodes, which will have that in there. I'm just wondering about chucking a generic at JSON serializer.deserialize, but there really is just one way to find out. The other thing we're going to need in here is some private static read-only use your words, Mark. JSON serializer options equals new and property naming policy equals JSON naming policy.camel case, because that is what it is returning. Okay, so then in here we can say var response equals get active scene response can just do that and see what happens there. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. All right, let's run it in here. Let's do this. Doc equals JSON document dot pass. Doc dot root element dot get property result. So doc, got a root element and now we've got a JSON element, and that does, yeah. So why is that not happy? I'm going to try this the other way. I don't think the underscore type's making it break. What I'm going to do is try doing active scene response like this. Shut up, C#, nobody cares. Okay. So result here, no, that's still null. Oh, stupid boy. I didn't pass in the serializer options. Oh, make that T, like that. You can go away, you can go away. And in here, we are just going to pass in serializer options like that, because now we should get the camel case. And now we can run this. Then we can do F10, F10. And now we can go into results. And now we have an active scene response. And now we have nodes. And we have a scene node there, which has got an ID and a name and a resource ID and a visible is true. which is fantastic. So then we can go back to program here. So we don't need get scenes, we just need get active scene there. I'll put them back in because I'll probably refactor this at some point anyway. Okay, and then if we go back to that code here, get the active scene, find the first scene item, blah, blah, blah. Now you have a resource ID for the iSceneItem API instance. So this is what we wish to call in here. Let's just move some of these around the place. Run this quickly again. So result, thing, nodes, scene, resource ID is that. So that's going to need escaping now. So then we're going to say var UTF JSON writer equals new UTF-8 JSON writer, and that is going to go to, we don't want a buffer writer. Array buffer writer creates an instance of array buffer writer. How does that work? All right, so we need to build up this thing here. I suspect this could get quite hairy if you actually try to build this out into something full on and that could handle all the things. But anyway, let's see. So then we can say JSON writer dot start object write string JSON RPC 2.0 JSON writer dot write string write number ID comma 42, because why not? Write string method set visibility JSON writer dot Right. Property name. Params. JSON writer.write start object. I guess I could just create a type for this, couldn't I? That's what I don't. I've literally just asked myself that question. Yeah, let's do that instead. You go up there. So then we're going to have a public class set visibility request. And this is going to have a prop string JSON RPC equals 2.0 and a prop int ID and a prop string method, and then we're going to have a public class request params prop string resource and prop bool, and that is an array for some reason, args, like so. These RPCs, these all look pretty much the same actually. So yeah, hang on. I think this is just a slobs request. And if we have a private static int underscore next ID equals interlocked dot increment next ID, so we're going to have a string method, string resource object args, actually params object args, like that. And then we're going to have a public request params get, and then we will just say method equals method and params equals new source equals resource and args equals args, like that. And in our slobs client here in our JSON serializer, we are going to say right indented false, like that. And then we're going to have a public async task string run async slobs request, and then we can just say var JSON RPC equals JSON serializer.serialize request and return await run async JSON RPC, like that. Let's do that like that. Okay, so now if we go to here and we say var request equals new slobs request active scene, scenes service, like that. Ignore null values, obsolete. Set default ignore condition to JSON ignore condition dot when writing null. And then in our request here, we can say args is length greater than 0, like that, and just mark it as nullable because it is. All right. What's this going to do? No, see, that's property naming policy, JSON naming policy.camel case. Because I haven't passed them in, because I'm an idiot. Serializer options. Let's try that one more time. JSON RPC. Okay, now that is completely ignoring my my serializer options there. If the value is null, the property is ignored during serialization. This is applied only to reference type, properties, and fields. line 35. I'm in the wrong bloody thing now. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes, thank you. It should just be the defaults. Right, so JSON RPC is now what I want it to be. Result, result. Nice, nice, nice. Excellent. Console display 4. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay. So then we can say how to hide show a scene item. Just use the generic for string 2. Yeah, I mean, I suspect I will be taking... I'll refactor this and tidy all that stuff up. So then, if we go to here, I'm just going to hide Stream Badger in there at the moment, because then, if I say the request equals new slobs request, and it's set visibility, and the resource browser source ID equals response dot nodes dot first or default name Stream Badger if browser source ID is not null. Browser source ID dot resource ID and true. And then var response text equals await client dot run async request, and then CW response text in there. Else so that is get the active scene. It did it. Boom! It did it. It absolutely did it. That is surprisingly straightforward. It really is surprisingly straightforward. So then what I would do, it's an interesting thing that I've started seeing as a pattern a lot recently, is people are building complex APIs in extension methods. And so you kind of put the core stuff into a class, and then it's kind of, where else am I going to put things? And you build extension methods around that class to do specific things. So this is kind of a low-level slobs client thing there. And so if we have a public static class called slobs source visibility, and then we can say public static async task set source visibility async. Can't stub out extension methods. How do you mean stub out extension methods? And flurl. What is flurl? You come back down here. Oh, you can't mock them. No, that's true. You can't mock them. Okay, well, let's change this to slobs pipe client, and then we'll have a public class slobs client, which is going to have a private read-only slobs pipe client inside it. The other thing that we really should do in here is make this iDisposable. Field cannot be null. There we go. And then this should be iDisposable as well. Same thing. Nope, can't be null. And then, so in here, we'll put public async task set source visibility string source name. Public task connect async underscore client dot connect async, like that. If source node dot visible we can just return. Otherwise, we do that. Then we can just input our underscore there, do that like that, and now we have set source visibility. And then I'm going to make it not visible again. And then in here, we're just going to say await client.setSourceVisibility stream badger true. We can get rid of all of that stuff there like that. And we can just run it. Nope, didn't like that. Pipe hasn't been connected yet. Oh yeah, because I didn't do that. Program. So using, and then we can say await client.connect async, and then this should and it does. That is actually, that's pretty nice. So we can get rid of all that crap there. And that works very nicely. And we like that. So let's move this into its own class there like that. And our slobs pipe client. So there's probably stuff that we can do in here that will make this slightly less terrifying. And I do wonder so let's just, in here, I'm going to try await JSON serializer dot serialize async. Can I just deserialize async slobs response of T client stream serializer options, and then return response dot result. That's what I'm thinking. But there's something weird about that stream, isn't there? So here is our request with active scene. Yeah, named pipe client stream does not play nicely. It just doesn't. So, what are we going to do? So what does this take? Just a stream. Yeah, that's not interested in being anything other than a stream there. But that bit seemed to work okay. Ooh. Await client stream dot write async underscore client stream dot write byte \n, because we didn't send the \n and it's expecting that. See, we had it there, but we didn't have it here. Let's try this now. This might work better. So we do that, and then we do that, and then no, it's definitely not having it. A memory stream. No, I'm pretty sure the thing's being sent okay. It's just reading it back that's causing a problem. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this will work. Oh, that's interesting. I've done it again. Do. So turn stream badger off, run, remove all line breakpoints, run it again, stream badger should be turned on. Boom! Excellent. Right, that was quite fun and nice and easy piddling about inside Rider. Okay, so things about next week. That's useless. That's not going to do me any good. I want this one. Right. So I'm trying to work out how to carry on doing this stream, which is just me faffing about with .NET 6 and things that I don't understand and generally having a good time. And also do the C# lessons thing. And I've been doing this at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I get the impression that that actually is not ideal for people a lot of the time because they're eating meals or doing whatever or travelling or all this sort of stuff. And then for some reason, I'm doing a thing which I know my daughter wants to watch it and some of her friends want to watch it. And so I'm doing a thing that potentially younger people and children and teenagers are interested in, and I've decided I'm going to do that at 10 o'clock at night on a Wednesday, on a school night, and so I'm thinking I might switch it around, and I might do the C# lessons at the 7 o'clock slot just for an hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then do some kind of like late night stupid coding around like 10 o'clock on a Wednesday. But also, potentially, I'm going to start doing lunchtime streams, which is just going to be me going, from like 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock or 12:30 to 1:30 every day. Or, you know, on random days when I feel like it. And yeah, so I'm going to think about it over the weekend and sort of talk about it on Twitter and stuff. But yeah, anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for stopping by. Next time we come in, I will try and factor this into Stream Badger and do interesting things with it. And then I'm Stream Badger working with slobs, which would be awesome. So yeah, I'll be on Twitter and doing things in the Discord, which is there. So yeah, join the Discord and ask about stuff. And apart from that, have a fantastic weekend, and rest of your evening and rest of your week and weekend. And whenever it is, I will see you next week. Cheers, everyone. Good night.